God will not reward you selling yourself short. So, as long as you keep grinding and hustling at something you know is not really worth your time, you're not going to succeed at it. Most people will most people think that if you work hard and keep your nose to the grindstone and just keep chugging along and doing something you hate, that it will somehow lead to you receiving a lot of money and success and ease. But the reason it's not working out is because God is like, no, what's for you is going to come easy. It's going to feel fulfilling. It's going to be aligned. It's going to be rewarding. So let's talk about it. I'm a transformation specialist, sovereignty coach, and ex-lawyer, and I empower women, leaders, and creators to unleash their true selves, walk in purpose as divine disruptors, and create the life of their dreams. We love. So, yeah, I have been hearing this, and I jotted it down in my notebook yesterday. Yeah, God is not going to reward you for selling yourself short or working too hard or doing something that you don't enjoy, something that drains you, something that exhausts you, or something that is just out of alignment with your values and with, God's values, which, that is not good for the collective. God's not going to reward that. That's why that job you hate isn't working out. That's why, even though you work really hard and you've paid your dues and you've done it how the matrix says you should do it, you're still not where you want to be. You're still maybe just keeping your head above water. That's because you're out of alignment. If you were supposed to stay there, if this was how God wanted you to use your power and receive wealth and support and success, you would be being rewarded for it. God knows that if they reward you for acting out of alignment, pushing, forcing, toiling, struggling, suffering, then you're going to do more of it. Unfortunately, most of us have been conditioned to think that struggle, toil, forcing, just, willing yourself, enduring something is going to work out. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. So when they find themselves, struggling and taking what they can get, and selling themselves short, it doesn't work. It doesn't get them the success they want, the ease they want, the recognition they want. And that is waiting for them. They just can't access it because they're too busy trying to force something that isn't for them, something that is beneath them. You're not here to sell yourself short. So, there's been times, Billy used to have this, a digital magazine back before really it was like a thing at all. And he called it Slept On, and people slept on him. People didn't really know he did it, even though he worked really hard and he was always going around making contacts and doing all this work, for free often or for much less than was worth his time. And so it wasn't as successful as it could have been. It wasn't as successful as it should have been based on how much energy and talent and time and intention he was putting into it. That's because it wasn't good enough for him. God is like, Billy, you're not here to be slept on, okay? You're not here to get a minimum wage. You're not here to be working out of alignment, forcing, working hard at something. It's supposed to be easy for you. And a lot of us are taught to glamorize, romanticize pain and struggle and suffering and fighting and, working and going, against all odds, when God is like, bro, can you please pivot? God is trying to show you this path is difficult because it's not for you. Your path is going to be easier. If you keep facing resistance, it's because you're supposed to learn to not keep doing it. So God is not going to reward you when you sell yourself short. God, like I saw a creator who they're going through a tough time right now, and I know that because they keep making posts about it on YouTube and written posts. And one time I sent like $100, and the very next day they were asking for more. And they did another video about they were asking, begging for money. They were like, I hate to do this. I never do this. I always, do it on myself. And so she's begging for money. She was like giving away like $10 readings. And she was like, and no one's getting these readings anymore. Yeah, girl, you're working too hard. God doesn't want you to work too hard. God doesn't want to reward you for selling yourself short. So when she's out here acting out of desperation, being like, oh, let me just, I'll do the labor for $10. That's all I need, just $10. God's like, oh no, babe, you're worth 10 times that. So I am not going to make you successful. I'm not going to reward you at something that is beneath you, that is not worth your time, that is selling yourself short. God is trying to tell her, don't work harder. Don't cut your prices even more, give $5 readings, keep begging, doing something you hate. You're not going to have success. You won't be rewarded for selling yourself short, for struggling, for making your path more difficult than it has to be. If God were to reward her for selling herself short, she would keep doing it. She would learn that that's the way forward. Okay, I got to give away my services for free or very, undervalued, very discounted. And if I just keep doing that, then eventually it will lead up to me being able to thrive. No, babe, that is going to exhaust her. It's going to keep her head maybe just above water. But God's like, I didn't create you to just be like treading water and keeping your head above water. I created you to thrive, to be fully expressed, to be in your power. And so I'm not going to reward you for selling yourself short. Oh, you'll just take whatever you can get? No, you won't. God's like, not my image, not my creation. I'm not going to reward you for letting people access you for half off. So I'm going to make that path difficult for you, so not to proceed down it. And yeah, so where the trouble comes up is that a lot of us have been taught that life is struggle, that work is hard, that in order to get anything, you have to work hard and you got to struggle and you got to toil and you got to suffer. And God's like, no, you don't. I'm sorry, do you think Elon Musk is out here struggling, suffering, selling himself short? Or does he recognize, listen, I can do whatever I want and these idiots will pay me whatever I say? He sets the price. He sets his own value and people pay it. And you selling yourself short, taking your civil servant salary, selling yourself short, taking whatever you can get, taking what people are willing to give you rather than what you're worth. You know it. Spirit knows it. God knows it. I know it. And everyone else out here might be telling you, yeah, just, discount your prices now and that will hopefully, people will, your path is to be expedited. Okay, you're here to work smarter, not harder. Things are here to come to you easily. And the things that are not coming easily, those aren't for you. So don't continue to practice enduring suffering, enduring difficulty, enduring, unalignment. Don't keep saying, well, if I just, take less than I deserve, and if I just, keep selling myself short, then eventually I'll get what I want. You won't. It'll take too long. You'll be too exhausted. You'll have forgotten your goal by that point. And yeah, God's like, I'm not going to reward you for selling yourself short. I will only reward you when you start to know your worth, when you start to see yourself as divine, when you start to demand reciprocity. The energy exchange that you are providing is invaluable. It is so valuable that it's beyond modern day comprehension. So don't you try to shrink your value to be achievable, accessible to people who, they're not able to afford you. Your job is not to try to give them a discount to hope they'll come. Your job is to set your value and know that you will be rewarded when the money starts to come in, when the contacts, the opportunities, the wealth, the wisdom, the ease starts to come in. You're going to be so glad that you priced yourself appropriately, that you recognized the insane astronomic value that you have early, that you set it, and then just you set the price. You're not open to negotiating, and the people who are willing to afford it, they're going to get the benefit of it. But you will not be rewarded if you continue to sell yourself short. It will always be exhausting. It will feel bad. It will not be rewarding. It will be unfulfilling. And that's so you know not to keep going down that path. All right? I've delivered the message. So let me know what you think, okay? Like, comment, subscribe. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, head over to my website, which is linked in my bio, seelikesheba.com. You can either get, raise spirits or go all in with me. And yeah, go back and, oh my gosh, is this like coming out weird now? I'm sorry, I did a thing. Anyway, go back and watch some of these episodes. They work as standalone kind of oracle readings, but also there's a common thread that weaves them all together. And stick with me, kid, and you'll see how I became the woman who went from easily receiving $5,000 every month to effortlessly receiving $100,000 every single month. And that is because I know I won't be rewarded for selling myself short. So I got to set my price high. I got to be confident in my high prices, in my astronomical value, in my, worth that is beyond modern day comprehension. All right, my darlings. That's it. I see you. I love you. I'll talk to you, Earth Angels, tomorrow, okay?